I'm Shawna Robins with Authority Magazine. I'm also founder and CEO of Third Spark Health. And today I have with me Shelley Loving. Hi, Shelley. Nice to see you.
Hi,
Tell
Shawna.
you a
Thanks
little
for
bit
having
about
me.
Shelley. She is a passionate advocate for healthy eating after her husband experienced a massive heart attack. Determined to improve his health, Shelley immersed herself in nutrition, eventually getting 3 certificates in nutrition and publishing a best-selling cookbook on Amazon. Through her work, she often inspires others to embrace healthy eating as a simple and delicious part of their life to create a sustainable, healthy living. So Shelley, thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Shawna. That was a great introduction. Thank you for allowing me to tell my message.
Yeah, my pleasure. So today we're going to be talking about the Authority Magazine series that I am hosting called Thriving Through Menopause, Wellness Tips for Women Over 45. So I wanted to ask you, are there any lifestyle changes that I can make or other women that might be listening to this can make to help reduce their symptoms like hot flashes, night sweats, many of the things that you hear about menopause that are so incredibly disruptive to our lives, to our health, to our well-being, to our mental, physical, emotional, and spiritual life that just sort of gets upended once you hit perimenopause and then menopause.
Yes. So what I teach for most health issues, because I feel like I kind of teach in a blanket, simple way. And what I teach is very applicable to perimenopause and menopausal women. And it's to really put a lot of focus on chronic inflammation. Chronic inflammation is the root issue and the culprit for most health conditions today. And when our bodies are chronically inflamed, then they don't work optimally. So it's our job to kind of combat that chronic inflammation in the different ways and lifestyles that we have in our practices in our life. And my focus is food. So whenever we can adhere to an anti-inflammatory diet, meaning we reduce the foods that cause chronic inflammation in our body, and then we increase the foods that fight inflammation. When we have that platform and we do both of those things in moderation, of course, we are setting our body up for optimum health. So then our body can operate to its highest capacity. Our body can, whether we're sick and we need to heal, or we have menopause and we want to reduce the symptoms, whatever it is, when we can set this foundation for an anti-inflammatory body, then our body can do what it's meant to do in a natural way, meaning it'll lessen the symptoms. It can begin the healing process. If you're already going through something like cancer or you're in recovery, this can help set the tone for your body getting ready to say, okay, I'm ready to heal. We've gone through hell and back and I'm ready to heal, and let's go. But it starts with, how inflamed are we? And what can we do to actually reduce those to lessen those symptoms?
All right, that's great. I know when I was going through perimenopause, I'm 52 now, so I am on the other side of that, but it was debilitating. The night sweats were debilitating. I mean, the hot flashes would only hit me at 3 o'clock in the morning. I didn't have them during the day, which I was lucky at, because I hear these stories of women that are like running business meetings or, running for an airplane or whatever. And it's just like, they're drenched, right?
Yep.
In sweat. I saw this interview yesterday with Oprah, and she was talking about how she was like on the red carpet, and it just like, a hot flash hit her, and she was literally just like, sweat was pouring out. And so, I mean, I can't imagine how challenging it would be to be in the public eye and have that happen, because there just hasn't been, menopause just has had such a hush hush kind of thing around it for so many generations, for so many women. There was like sort of a stigma of shame to it. There was this stigma of, having to be quiet about it, having to just get through it, having to white knuckle through it. It's just the change. It's just what you do. You don't talk about it. And I'm so grateful now that we're able to have these public conversations, because I know that the more we discuss this and the more information that we share, the more empowered women are to really, reach out and get the help that they need during this challenging time.
I
So
couldn't agree more.
would you say that there's any natural alternative treatments that you found that have been helpful alleviating menopause symptoms?
I know one thing that has personally helped me. I am in the perimenopausal phase, so I am still doing all the things that women do, but I'm starting to see change. So I want to get in the front of it as much as I can. So in the research that I've been doing, something that has been beneficial to me personally on my journey is seed cycling. So that means you're going to consume certain seeds on certain parts of your cycle that will help reduce the symptoms. And I have found success in my perimenopausal phase. I can't speak for menopause, but I can speak for on my behalf. I've really noticed a difference more so in my mood swings. And I have now started to get a few hot flashes in the exactly what you said in the middle of the night. And those have helped. It's helped those as well. So, like pumpkin and flax seeds, like the first half of your cycle. So, day 1 through 14, if you're still having a cycle. And then afterwards, sunflower and sesame, the second 2 weeks. Those, there's something magical in the seeds. And I'm just going to try it. And so I either put them in my smoothies, put them in my salads, put them on top of a piece of fish or chicken. And I've been consistent with it. And it has really helped lower my symptoms personally that I do have.
Wow. I love seed cycling, and I love that you brought that up. So give me the amounts. Are we talking 1 spoonful, 2 spoonfuls? Like what are we looking at?
1 to 2 tablespoons a day.
Perfect.
Yep. And you can mix them up. So like pumpkin and flax, and you can do ground. We don't have to get crazy here. I am one that doesn't like a lot of rules and directions. If I teach in a complex way and I tell you have to have them raw and I tell you keep them in the freezer and I tell you that you have to do them, it's not going to happen. Let's keep it in check. Do what you can with what you have. So if you have ground, great. If you don't, great. Doesn't matter. They don't have to be, they roast them if you want to. It's fine. Just just start baby steps by being consistent with getting 1 to 2 tablespoons a day. I'll be honest, I don't hit it every single day, but I keep them in a little section in my pantry. So when I go to eat breakfast every day or I'm making a lunch, I'm like, ooh, seeds. I haven't had them today. And so I try to incorporate them in my daily. So yeah, 1 to 2 tablespoons.
Great. Great. That's super helpful. I hope that women really take that into consideration.
Yeah.
I think that seed cycling is one of the most powerful things that you can do to just, like we talked about, like it's a tool in your toolkit. And as you age, the medical community can only offer you so many tools to help you through this time. And so it's really important to look at more holistic tools that you can have, that you can go to. So I love the idea about seed cycling. So that brings me to my next question, which is bone health. Super important topic during perimenopause and menopause. What can women do to help maintain their bone health?
Not drink milk, because there is such a misconception about dairy and calcium. Marketing is very powerful, and back in the 80s, got milk started, and it has never left people's minds. It's stuck forever, and they have us convinced that dairy is the only way to get calcium. And I'm not telling people don't ever eat dairy, but I don't put dairy in my recipes. It's not in my cookbook. It does cause inflammation over time, no matter if you have a dairy intolerance or not. I just don't think that dairy is the end all be all, but calcium is very important for our bones. So there's lots of different food sources that have calcium, from broccoli to sesame seeds, leafy greens. There's lots of options for calcium that don't contain dairy. So I would like, if I could give any advice, it's for your bone density, make sure you're getting adequate amounts of calcium. However, don't rely on dairy sources for your calcium.
Great. I love that. I think that's really important. And I would also add to that too, that making sure that your vitamin D levels.
I was just about to say that.
Yeah.
Yep,
Yeah.
vitamin
Please
D.
talk about vitamin D and magnesium, because I think that's important for women.
Vitamin D is so important, especially so many studies have come out post-COVID that are showing the importance with vitamin D in so many different areas in our bodies that they didn't before. So we're talking immune system, aging, and bone density, super important. That's one of the reasons I'm such an advocate for eating the entire egg. The yolk has so much vitamin D. It's a very powerful, dense source of vitamin D. And I would like for people to take their focus off the cholesterol topic that they've also talked us into and put it back on the whole egg has got so many nutrients in it. It's got 7 of the 9 essential vitamins. And so, yeah, vitamin D, super duper. And red meat, there's other sources of vitamin D. The sun, that's important. I love to tell people, go in the morning, first thing in the morning, as soon as the sun is up, if you're awake, go stand outside for 10 minutes, stand in the grass, get the natural light on your body. It's really, really going to help your bone density, your energy levels, clean toxins out of your body, etc.
And your sleep. So I'm a sleep
And
expert.
your sleep.
And that's what I teach people to do first thing in the morning, is to get morning sunlight to regulate their sleep-wake cycles. So
their circadian rhythm, right?
Right. That's right. Yeah, that's great.
Yep.
Perfect. I love that. All right. So let's dive into the 5 things that women need to know to thrive during menopause, that you mentioned in your article. I'm really curious to hear what your main 5 things, because there are so many things that women need to be aware of during menopause, but I really like the way that you were able to condense them down. I thought it was a really powerful list. So lodge into yours.
Ah, well, okay. You're going to have to help me refresh my memory because the article was about 2 weeks ago and I talk a lot about the 5 things.
Yep,
So
no
if you can
problem.
help me give me the bullets and then we'll expand on that, would that be okay?
Well, you can, except for that I haven't pulled up your article. So let's dive into just the 5 things that you have just sort of off the top of your head that you recommend that women need to know to thrive. So we've talked about, talk about nutrition, talk about what's in your cookbook. I would really love to hear exercise, moving your body, stress reduction, those types of things.
Yeah. Okay. So the number one thing is really introducing anti-inflammatory foods into your diet. Those are going to be foods like your leafy greens, your sweet potatoes, your nuts, seeds, legumes. Those are all going to be berries are probably top of my list of anti-inflammatory foods. I just wish people would eat more with intention instead of habit. And when I say intentional eating, that means think about your meal. Okay. Am I getting a protein? Am I getting a fiber? Am I getting a healthy fat? Am I incorporating anti-inflammatory foods? How many of these foods on my plate are ultra processed? So when we do that, we lower that inflammation. It's just going to help everything. It's going to make our menopausal symptoms go down. It's going to make us morph into that phase of our life that we can't avoid and make it a little more pleasant. So that, and then of course, eliminating the inflammatory foods. And people are like, what are those, Shelley? And it's ultra processed foods, things like refined oils. More and more talk is coming out about refined oils and how detrimental they are to our health. But people think, oh, well, I don't cook with vegetable oil that often. And I'm like, well, they're in all the foods you're buying. They're in the crackers, the sauces, the frozen foods, the nut butters. They're in everything. So I want to bring a lot of awareness to what products are you buying that have inflammatory ingredients in them that you're not even thinking about. That's habitual eating and habitual shopping, right? So, for example, when I was growing up, my mom always bought the same stuff. Like she bought out of habit. We bought Hidden Valley Ranch dressing. We had Oreos for dessert. We had Wishbone Italian dressing. My mom just had this list and she didn't think about it. We were out of it and she bought it. And I'm trying to break the cycle of that habitual buying of groceries and meal making for people to be more like, okay, what am I actually making? What am I feeding my family? So that's important. Water intake is a huge one. I think I talked about that in the article. Just by drinking adequate amounts of water, we are flushing so many toxins out of our body so our body can work better. We sleep better. Water's big. My little tip on water is, as a general rule, everybody is different, but as a general rule, to keep in your head to make it easy, half of your body weight in ounces. So if you weigh 100 pounds, try to drink 50 ounces. Also get your favorite cup. Make sure if you are not prone to drinking enough water, get one with a straw. Makes it a lot easier. You don't have to screw. I know it sounds stupid, but you don't have to screw a lid off and it's going to save you 5 seconds. You're going to be more inept to drink it. Sleep is super important. You are the sleep expert. I don't want to talk too much about that because you could talk way over my head, but sleep is everything. And having a routine, a very distinct routine is very important for your hormonal health. So those would probably be my top. And exercise, of course. Just move your body. I'm not an exercise expert. I'm not a fitness expert, but move every day. Even walking, I'm sure there are so many studies coming out of the power of walking. Just 30 minutes a day, 20 minutes a day, whatever you can squeeze in, but move your body, do jumping jacks, get a rebound, little mini trampoline and jump for 5 minutes, just something to move your body.
Yeah, I love that. The trampoline is great. You know what I just actually got yesterday was one of those weighted vests that I can wear while I'm walking. I'm really excited to try it out. I guess
I want to hear. Let me know because I've thought about getting one as well. I'm in Texas, and so right now I don't know if I could handle it with the heat.
Right.
Because my clothes are drenched, and I want to because it's so humid. But I'm very interested in that. How much does it actually weigh? Do you know?
I went with the smallest one was 5 pounds. And I thought, you know what, I'm just going to give this a try. I'm going to see how it goes. And I passed it around at our family dinner last night. I said, hey, look what I got. And I had everybody guess the weight of it. And my husband thought it was 10 pounds. My daughter thought it was 8 pounds. Everybody thought it was a lot more than it was. So, and it was also interesting because everyone's like 5 pounds. Wow. Like when you lose 5 pounds of your body weight, this is what it is. Like it really just seemed to be a lot. So,
Ooh.
I'm starting real easy. You know, they go all the way up to 20 pounds. I can't imagine having 20 pounds on my back, but then again, you know, I used to carry my kids. So, you know, it's very similar to that. So, but yeah, that's definitely, I'm hoping to kind of elevate my walking game and my hiking game for
I think
sure.
that's a great idea. I'll be curious to see how you like it. Keep me posted on that.
Yeah, well, again, and it comes back to bone density, right? It
Yep.
comes back to, you know, really having to fight for our muscles now that we're aging and now that we're going into menopause, you know, really like, you know, drilling down on making sure that you're getting that strength and really prioritizing strength over being skinny, over being, you know, fitting in your jeans. It's more important that you're strong so you don't get injuries as you age. So, you know, I really like that you brought these things up. And I think I love the idea of the trampoline. You know, I love everything. I love hydration. So many women are constantly dehydrated and they don't even realize it. And, you know, you and I are both, you know, in the health coaching world. And so I'm sure you've heard the old statement of the client complains about having chronic headaches and then they take an Advil and the headache goes away. Well, what makes the headache go away is the water that they drank with the Advil, not the actual Advil. So you know, many women that I work with say, oh, I drink plenty. You know, I have coffee in the morning and I have wine at night. And, you know,
Tea. I
I'm
drink
properly
tea.
hydrated. And
Yeah.
I always have to remind them that LaCroix is not water, right?
No,
Soda is not water. You know, these things are not water. So, yeah, yeah,
I
it's great.
love that. You know, I love that we're having this conversation. And I think the perfect word to describe this conversation is prevention. And I feel like if people like you and I can spread the word more and get people to think about their future health rather than trying to live in defense mode, I'm trying to get people to live in prevention mode so my husband and I went from after his heart attack we went from defense mode because he was alive and now we were trying to keep him alive to now 10 years later we've morphed into this beautiful world of healthy living and prevention. And I just wish there were more people like you and I having these conversations so that women can ease into menopause and perimenopause more gracefully and have the tools that they need to be prepared for it instead of living in defense mode.
Yeah, that's great. That's wonderful. I agree. You know, and our medical community is so great at crisis care, but not great at preventative care. So I agree with you. I wish there were more health coaches. I'm really glad that we were able to have this conversation today. I'm really grateful that you know, wrote in on my series and that we were able to meet. So how can people connect with you? How can they find you? How can they get your cookbook? How can they learn more about what you do?
Yeah, so I'm everywhere. Shelley Can Help, and it's SHELLEY, canhelp.com, and every social media platform. I don't know if I should be embarrassed or proud that I'm on every social media platform, but I am every single day. Shelley Can Help. And then my book is called, it's an anti-inflammatory recipes. So it's meals, and it's called What's on Your Fork, and it's on Amazon and barnesandnoble.com.
Yay, that's wonderful.
Yay.
Congratulations on that. I'm definitely
Thank you
going to pick
so
myself up a
much.
coffee for sure.
Thank you so much. Yeah, it was a labor of love, but I love it because it's my way of just sharing my message with people in a way that it can stay in their kitchen for years in the future. And then every time they want to make something healthy, they just hopefully it'll be their default book to pull out to make a healthy meal for their family. That is still delicious, actually.
Yay. All right, Shelley. Well, thank you so much. Thanks
Yeah.
for joining me today.
Thank you so much, Shawna. I appreciate it. And I love everything you're doing.
Oh, thank you. So great. All right. Well, stay tuned for more information from Authority Magazine and from me, Shawna Robins, founder and CEO of Third Spark.